I recently had the pleasure of fishing with legendary professional angler Jimmy Houston. If you don't know who he is, Jimmy was a key influencer for growing bass angling in the early days and has had his own television show for over 47 years. Known for his barrage of jokes and his iconic laugh, there was no way we could have captured all of Jimmy's antics into one episode, so I picked through a few of my favorite moments fishing with Jimmy to share with you all.
It's just beautiful up here. I was up here working for Shell Rotella at a grand opening, and I said, man, I gotta go fishing. I happened to run into Cody, and Cody.
Ooh, that's a nice fish, wherever this is.
Did you get one on there, under that dock? I didn't really say that's a great place to get one right there. Ooh, that looks like
I'll beat you to it.
And that looks like a good one too.
Yeah, it is. Well, this is a light-powered rod.
Oh, I see him running around down there.
It's a light-powered rod, so
7 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
this
not.
ain't no 7-pounder.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, he's decent. Probably.
Oh yeah, he's
2.5.
good. Nice fish. Good, nice northern bass right there. And that's what we're fishing for. We're gonna fish maybe several little lakes over here this evening and maybe tomorrow. We're out here only about an hour before dark, but we thought that one's kind of skinny, and most of the fish I see up here in the north are real fat.
Yeah, that's
probably a male. It's or it could be a female that's just already spawned out, but it looks like a male.
Yeah,
I don't know, her tail's kind of messed up though. I bet it's a female. You can kiss that one if you want, Cody. That wouldn't hurt anything. But don't be kissing any boy fish, not on this show. Look at there. That fish is actually hooked outside of the mouth. You know what that means, Cody, when they're hooked outside the mouth?
Is swiping pretty hard at it?
I don't know either. No, he just, and that fish has been caught before recently a couple of times. Look at this. This is catch and release. This is why it works. See that? That's an old wound, probably a treble hook of some kind. Mm-hmm. There's an old wound, probably a worm. And where that spinnerbait got it, it was right over here. There's not even a mark where my spinnerbait got it. That might be seconds or thirds on the kissing on that fish.
Yeah.
She's not very smart. Fishing one half naked. Maybe it was embarrassing, those fish. We're so embarrassed, we're not going to bite that thing.
It might attract them a little bit more, too.
It might. I'm not fishing for the boy fish. I'm fishing for big girls. Might be embarrassing them.
I guess you need a well-dressed spinnerbait for that. Maybe you can have Lucky Craft make a tuxedo color one for you.
A little bit difference there in the skirts. This guy right here, I've been trying to break it. You know, see, the Redman spinnerbait's got the old safety pin bend. This is the way we used to build spinnerbaits when we were kids. We'd buy safety pins, large safety pins. They were already made like this. And one end was pointed and the other end had a snap on it that you snapped it down into. We'd cut that off and put the wire around a hook and put it in a jig mold. And we'd have this part of it. We'd cut the sharp point off, put a little bend in the end of it and put a blade out, and that's how we made spinnerbaits. And so when we built the original Redman spinnerbait, that's the way we built them. We didn't have R bends and U bends. But the deal is, and of course this is short arm, so when you bring it through the water, it shakes back and forth this way. You see that vibration. Even with that small blade, it really vibrates. I sold Sam Walton, the guy that started Walmart. Mm-hmm. I sold him those when he had 13 stores.
Oh, wow.
13 stores, isn't that something? One of the things that happens with a Redman that's a negative is that if your line gets wrapped around in here, it can get down in that round, in that circle bend. Mm-hmm. And so you have to, when that happens, you have to check your line. Now I can see a little nick in it right there and feel a nick. You might have to retie a little bit more often. But quite honestly, unless you're using braid, you probably are not retying your bait as often as you need to. And easily you can get a damaged line, and you might have, like this is 15 or 20 pound test line I have on here, big line. But that nick I had on there was probably about 6 or 8 pound strength. So I could get a 3 or 4 pound fish, set the hook and break the line even sometimes on the hook set. Or if I get a nice one on and he runs and breaks your line, and you're going, oh my gosh, that fish broke 20 pound line. Well, he really didn't. What he broke was where it was 6 pounds or 8 pounds because you had a nick in it. So you want to retie that thing, pretty often. Fishing line, well, I'm not going to say fishing line is cheap because there's nothing cheap anymore in this world we live in. But fishing line is inexpensive compared to losing what might be your PB.
The morning bite was steady but slow. We caught quite a few fish, but pretty small overall. Jimmy and I headed into some vegetated bays to try to change our luck. These areas are usually unfished and can hold some pretty big fish. I usually use a frog or a punching rig in this heavy cover to draw bites. Jimmy was using that Redman spinnerbait to attempt to trigger a reaction strike.
We would get, oh, that's a nice fish.
That was a pike.
But bit you off. Bite it off. Yeah, it's a big.
I had that, I had that frog for about 3 years.
Well,
that same frog. And I was just talking about that the other day about how I've been very lucky not to break that off, and here we are.
Those big pikes will do it.
It's almost sentimental, It felt like a big heavy fish.
Yeah, it was a big pike, I'm telling you. I don't think he'll bite again.
Yeah, hopefully you get my frog back.
He bites it, I'll get your frog back.
Yeah, to me it's more of the game. Like if I say me or whoever's in the boat with me, if we figure out what works and we almost solve that puzzle of catching fish, I don't care if I catch a single fish after that. As long as I'm not getting skunked, and if whoever's I'm fishing with catches a whole bunch, I think it's kind of a team sport when you look at it that way. Like you could be using different techniques, or sometimes whether you're helping somebody land the fish or whatever. It's just, to me, that's the puzzle is my favorite part of fishing.
Well, in all those early years of bass, we drew partners every day, and so we fished, we fished in competition in the same boat with Roland Martin and Bill Dance and Ricky Clun. I like to draw those really top name fishermen, because I knew that what we were going to do that day was use all the knowledge and all the places and all the patterns I had figured out, also all of what he had figured out. And we were never trying to beat each other. All we were trying to do is catch a big limit of fish. I thought maybe you were trying to teach him how to swim.
Oh, no, I think he's showing me he's good at that.
He knows how to do that already, don't he? Sort of comes natural.
He's coming.
Got him out of the grass?
I think so.
Get him up there, Cody. Let's take a look at him.
I got a light line on here. This is only 7 pounds for the leader.
It's a pike.
No, it ain't. I know you were pulling my leg there.
It's a pike. That'll work. That'll work.
That's a kissing fish, eh?
Yeah.
He's chunky,
that sunshine's kind of driving some of them under there. We fished some of these deeper docks this morning and couldn't get a bite.
Nice fish.
That sunshine's helping us. On the wrong side of the cable. Not very big, but I don't know how many fish I've caught in tournaments throwing back in between a boat and a dock, but throw over the rope, like I did on that one there. Sometimes you get a real big one back there too. You gotta kind of lift over all that stuff.
Yesterday was a little slow. Last night when we went out, it was sunny and everything like that. And then today it seemed like we had a little bit more success when that sun came out. You were nailing them on the spinnerbait earlier when it's still cloudy. I was struggling with using finesse plastic.
Yeah, mostly pike. I caught a few bass on that spinnerbait, but mostly pike. And there's so many bluegill out there. I was looking on my Garmin Live Scope, and there's so many bluegill. It's amazing. So they got a lot to eat in this lake.
Yeah, when the sun came out, it seemed like they were tucked way underneath the docks. Like you'd catch, maybe we caught 1 or 2 on the outsides, and then I got a few going right underneath the dock, skipping a lure under there and getting those, 3rd or 4th fish off the same docks, which is pretty crazy because there was open water. It seemed like it was very slow for us, even when there was weeds.
Yeah, but when that sun came out, early in the morning, you got a lot of shade because of the sunrise coming up, and you got the trees and everything around the lake, and so you have a lot of shade. You chase the shade as long as you can, but once that goes away, the sun gets up high. In the middle of the afternoon, the only shade they have is around the docks. And so those darker places, and the last 2 or 3 fish that we caught in water just about that deep. It's so shallow, but they're back in underneath something. Yeah. And we even caught a few of them throwing between the pontoon and the dock. They throw over a rope or something. That's kind of fun, but they weren't big fish, but they were a lot of fun to catch.
Yeah, up here it's not like, down Oklahoma or everywhere else that you've fished. But yeah, there's a lot of fish, and they're always aggressive because that feeding window that they have before winter is so small up here that they'll crush a lot of different lures. You just got to find them, though.
Yeah. Well, we found them this afternoon, or they found us. I don't know which.
I appreciate fishing with you. It was fun. Yeah, we didn't catch, you know, the size that you're used to, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, just how he is on camera is exactly how he is off camera. Just like a barrel of monkeys.
We just have fun. We just have fun.
No, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Cody. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
bud.
hopefully sometime in the future, if our paths cross again, you know, it'd be great to fish with you again.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll do it.
I'd say one of my favorite moments was Jimmy taking the time to talk with a few fans on the shoreline. Even with him anxiously wanting to get back home after being on the road for 2 weeks, he took the time to chat with a kid who was waiting 5 hours to see him. Being over 1,100 miles from home, he talked to everyone like they lived right next door. I'm glad to have been able to hang out with Jimmy, learning more about the outdoor media industry, fishing, and even a few new dad jokes I can tell while I'm out fishing.